Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm clearly audible and the screen is also clearly visible. If you are having any issue associated with it, please let me know.
It's clear, sir.
It is clear, right? Okay, okay. So, first of all, actually, I'm very much sorry that actually I skipped out few of the lectures. I hope it is not going to break our continuity of the understanding, but there were certain uh, issues that I will have to that I had to overcome, and some of the things need to be skipped out. I hope it will not affect, but still, actually, I will try to remind what we have discussed so far. So we have discussed a few of the typical cyber physical systems, including Siemens, Audi, and we have also discussed few of the initiative related to the cyber physical system by the government of India. And we have taken a case study, or you can say we have extended our knowledge related to cyber physical system to the smart foundry. And we have also understood that how the flow of the information happens into the cyber physical system. And as we actually limited to renown as a cyber physical system, but actually we will mainly discuss the cyber manufacturing system, because we mainly focus on to the transformation of manufacturing system into the cyber manufacturing system by uh, embedded by embedding the various sensors, data acquisition systems, and all, right? So I hope it is very much clear, and we have discussed few of the components associated with the cyber physical system, including the sensor, data acquisition system. So essentially, it will start with the any physical system. In a more understanding way, we can say that it starts with the any manufacturing system. Into the manufacturing system, we will pick any of the component associated with the manufacturing system, and we will identify the parameter associated with the typical equipment into the manufacturing system, and then we will identify the various sensors associated with it, and then from the sensors we will select the most appropriate data acquisition system for that, and from that data acquisition system we will connect the data acquisition system with the internet, either it is a LAN or a Wi-Fi. Then this sensor to data acquisition system, and further they are connected with the internet so that the data will be streaming to the server. It may be your own system, it means a client based server, or it may be a kind of cloud based server, and from that server onwards actually we will utilize that data into the various purpose like monitoring or analytics or a prediction, whatever the our purpose. It means either we are going to utilize it for the real time monitoring or optimization of the system. And again, this optimized parameter, again we are going to feed into the physical system to get the optimized quality or optimized result associated with the cyber physical system. And then this entire cycle is going to be fixed up into the iterative manner, so that every time this cycle runs we will come up with the most optimized parameter, and then again the system is getting improved as per the each iteration, right? So finally our objective is to run the entire physical system by its own, and in that actually we are going to embed the fundamental of artificial intelligence, so that the system will learn by itself for the betterment of the result. That's what actually we have discussed, and based on that actually I have plotted the few uh, kind of small assignment to you. And today actually we will understand what you are going to do with this kind of assignment with the help of very small case study on that, how to capture the environmental condition from your physical system. So I hope you have decided, or you have selected your physical system of your interest, and I hope you have formed the group, or if you have decided to work into the individual basis. And I hope you have also identified the process parameter associated with the physical system chosen. So I hope everyone has done that. So now actually I request everyone, if they have formed the group, they have identified the physical system and what are the process parameters they are supposed to take for the further proceeding. And then actually we will understand how to capture the data. So today is Tuesday, and I will plot the list of the stuffs that you need to procure by the Sunday. And I will also give you the stuff from reference from where actually you can procure this stuffs, so that actually onto the Sunday we will have a complete demonstration that how to capture the data associated with the temperature and humidity from the system, right? Or say from the atmosphere, how to capture the temperature and humidity, and then how to stream the data to the, first we will understand how to stream the data to your own system, then we will understand how to stream the data to the server, and then we will also learn that how to take a help of uh, open source system to have a building the Android application, so that uh, wherever you are going to fix the sensor associated with the temperature and humidity, then the data will be streaming to your own Android phone, right? So we will also do that. So now I request everyone to tell me whether you have formed the group, whether you have identified the physical system, and whether you have identified the process parameters of the physical system associated with your selection. So now I am waiting for your response. So have you formed the group? I think currently 1, 2, 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I think 12, 13 participants are there. So what is your status? Anyone? I think more than that participant we are having. So have you formed the group or not?
Sir, my name is Meena. I have we have formed a group, but exactly the physical system of our interest we didn't choose it certain enough identifying.
Okay. What's your name? What you have mentioned?
So my name is Meena. The
Oh, yeah,
thing
me.
which I didn't understand is, so
Yeah.
since if we are like two three people in a group, if I procured one thing, the other person has to procure another thing. So everyone has to procure in our team now, sir. Like we all stay in different places. So I think everyone in our team has to procure the same thing. Hannah, sir.
No, it is not necessary. Once you have actually say formed the group, so everyone is from the different location. Anyone who are from the same location, or maybe uh, all are from the different location. What is the situation? Abhijit, I think you can throw some light on that, right? If you are there. So Meena, actually, what is the purpose behind selecting the physical system, right? See, physical system, I hope everyone is belong to the some kind of engineering domain, right? And more specifically onto the mechanical or manufacturing or kind of forging casting domain, right? So select any most appropriate physical system. It may be a furnace, so that we will see the demonstration of that, how to connect that furnace with the internet to capture the data associated with the furnace, right? That is the first thing. You can also select any other physical system like small heating furnace to melting furnace. Just it is purely depends on your choice. Any physical system in which
Like I did the project regarding energy, how much energy is consumed by the particular machine, or what is
you can also,
the exact.
yeah, yes, that also you
So
can,
this kind of.
yeah. So suppose
Yes.
any particular equipment, if I'm going to select, then I need to capture the information related to voltage and current, and then I will be in position to find out the power consumption. Whenever, suppose for entire day, a particular machine is going to work, then we may be interested in to find out that how much power has been consumed. That is a technical parameters. If you are going to connect with the commercial aspect, then you will be in position to find out that how much amount of money that you have spent by running the entire machine for one day, right? So for that, actually, any particular machine which
Yes,
consumes
sir, I
some
have
kind of,
did that project, like taking the energy, how much energy it is consuming. With that, like how many tons we transfer, and for that 1 ton, how much is the consumption and all. I did that project in like my company. So
Mhm.
if I can I select any other machine which is like automatic machines and all, so that we can see the temperature sensors and also.
Yes, we can
Thing.
say that we can actually take that as a project also, right? So just you need to
Yes, sir.
yeah, identify one physical system. I'm not saying that a particular machine, right? It may be wax injection press, it may be CNC machine, it may be anything, right? I'm not saying you
Okay,
should
sir.
stick to the any particular machine. What I'm trying to explain you in the context of metal casting, because we are implementing, or we are extending the application of cyber physical system into the metal casting. So it may possible that every time we are going to discuss, few of the equipment related to metal casting comes in my mind into the first. But as we all belong to the different domain, then it may possible that okay, we are going to have a different machines to deal with us into the day-to-day life. Even air condition would be, say, one of the physical system, right? So we can also think in that direction, right?
Hello.
Yes, Satyendra, right? Satyendra.
Yes, sir. Satyendra.
Yes.
Sir, I have one thing. I have one physical system in Foundry is the painting booth, core painting.
Okay. Core painting. Yeah.
So I want to just check the viscosity of paint continuously. Means
Okay.
instead of checking in every 2 hours or 4 hours, I want to have this on live. Is it possible? Means
So
if the
currently,
sensors are
how
available,
yeah, currently how you are checking the viscosity?
viscosity check by either Ford cup or Biometer.
Yeah, I know that Ford Cup or Zan Cup or maybe ISO Cup. There
Yes.
are different possibilities of using the cup. So in which actually the manual intervention is there, right? So any
Yes.
person actually is passing the paint through that cup, and you are counting the second, right? So
Right.
that could be one of the physical system. That's what actually we are. We have also developed such a automated device. So we just place the some proximity sensors where the path of the paint is passing. We are trying to capture when it actually it cuts the proximity rays, right? It start to count the time, and once it the flow of the paint is going to stop, the timer will capture that. But that can be considered as a one of the physical system. I agree on that point. So you can take that also to measure the viscosity continuously throughout
Yes.
the operation. Because they, into the investment casting plant, they are also doing the same thing. They are measuring the viscosity every 1 hour, 2 hours, or maybe twice in a day, because they are measuring the viscosity of slurry into the similar fashion what you are explaining. So final result of the viscosity will comes in terms of seconds, right? It means time,
Yes.
not in
Right.
a typical viscosity units what we are using into the fluid dynamics. So that can be done, no problem. So you take that, okay, viscosity measurement device would be my say physical system. So in which
Yes.
what I am supposed to measure, I should say viscosity, but viscosity is further disintegrate into the measurement called time, right? So finally
Right.
we have
Yes.
to measure the time out of it. Yeah. Anyone else who has actually thought of
Hello,
some?
sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm Nand Kumar, and I also work in a foundry company, KSB Foundry.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm in a melting department. So best possible means physical system for me is furnace,
Yes, melting.
induction furnace.
Yes, melting furnace you can take.
Yes.
So
The process parameter may be temperature, cutoff temperature, power out, power usage,
yes,
then
two,
complexity of casting.
yeah, two types of the temperature mainly we are able to sense. First, as you
Yes.
mentioned, the cutoff temperature. Suppose I will fix up the 1500 degree centigrade, then it has to maintain at the 1500 degree centigrade and actual measurement of the temperature, and at the same time the power consumption, right? So
Yes, sir.
melting furnace would be one of them. What was the another thing you were mentioning? Complexity of the casting. What
Yes,
you
sir.
were,
If some of the castings are very complex and critical, so we for that power means the temperature of that furnace is taken different means higher. Like
yeah,
if take a casting of an impeller, then the temperature is like 1670 degrees Celsius, and if the casting is like volute casing or some casing covers, then their temperature is like 1600 1620.
okay.
And it also depends on material, means which grade of material we are taking. On that also it depends.
Mm-hmm. So what I suggest, you take a melting furnace, identify the three parameters: cutoff temperature, actually the furnace temperature, and power consumption. You decide the range of the temperature, how much amount of temperature, maximum to up to maximum range, maximum temperature, how much temperature usually you go, right? Maybe it
Yes.
is 2000 degree, 1900, and based on that we will come up with the best possible sensors, and then we'll understand how to do that, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so melting furnace, viscosity measurement, and maybe some power consumption related to the machining. Okay, we are in good shape. I think the three students have already done that. Any other who actually have some thought about the physical system, what they are trying to take it into the?
Hello, sir. This is Arshit Agrawal. Uh,
Yes, sir.
Sir, I was thinking of taking the physical cyber system as dies that we are use for making brake parts, aluminum alloys that we are using for making. So we have to monitor the temperature of the dies and keep it above certain level. For example, 250 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
So can we take that as a
Are
physical system?
are you measuring it or not? Currently, are you measuring it or not? Or not?
Currently, we are not actually measuring, but we are taking. We have set certain level, and if the temperature goes below that level, the line actually
Cooling
stops.
system will, yeah, or otherwise the cooling system will switch on, right? Like that.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Okay. But for
uh,
that, actually, see, sensors depends on to that from where actually you want to capture the data. The
okay,
in our common day-to-day industrial life, we are dealing with the two category of the machines. One which is typical legacy machine, in which there is no provision of any kind of display device through which we can judge their parameters. For example, if you are taking a legacy machine like lathe, right? So there is no
yes,
indication how much feed is there, how much RPM is there. So
yes,
for that case, actually, it is difficult to put the sensors over there and try to capture the information. Although can be done, but still they are kind of first generation or second generation kind of machine. Like Sexton and Turret, we are not able to identify what tool is going to be operated and all. So then we will try to select third generation of machine where there are possibility of display device. Like say, although we are able to put the sensors, we can also transform the second generation machine into the fourth generation machine. But it is for the understanding purpose, it is more easy than whenever we are having a display device with us, then easily we can bypass the sensors along the fitting with that, and will also capture the data from it, right? So kind of we can easily develop the gateway device for the third generation machine, and for the second generation you will have to produce both. So you can take die as a physical system in which actually we can, but we'll have to put the sensors, more precisely I should say thermocouple into the die.
Thermocouples, we are using thermocouples right now, but there is nothing to not in every die we are using.
Okay.
For certain dyes, it was possible to use on the line. For certain dye, it was not possible. So we are just with the experience of we are using burners for heating up the dye. So with the experience, or we have to throw one or two shots, initial shots for getting up the temperature. So if possible, we can have
Definitely.
something.
That's what I was trying to say. If you are using the thermocouple, it is very much encouraging sign, right? So
Yes,
just
sir.
need to take the that thermocouple, need to embed with the अपना ये data acquisition system. What we are trying to use a very cheaper version, kind of academical version. What we are actually what I'm trying to propose to use, kind of Node MCU or ESP32 or Arduino kind of device, so that easily you can connect the thermocouple through SMPS and Node MCU with that. Sorry, अपना ये Max module will come up with the Max module. So thermocouple to Max module to Arduino device, and then the data will be streaming to your computer or the Android application. That we can do. It means we'll learn how to do it. So that could
Yes.
be one. Yeah, that can be taken. No problem. So dye is there, viscosity is there, and then power consumption is there, melting furnace is there, enough variation, right? So anyone else? Actually, Harshit has done that, Meena, then Satendra, Nansing. Yeah, good. So any
Sir, in my group, Avnish and Utkarsh are there.
Okay, so actually, how will you communicate with me? For example, I think all of you are comfortable with the Moodle, what actually the link has been provided to all. So into the Moodle itself, I think we will communicate. You can form the group and send the information to me, or we will, I think, if possible, I will also share the kind of Google form in which you can.
So we can email you.
That is also okay, but then actually I will have to serve the 10-15 emails, right, to find out who is
Yes.
in whose group and all. So better actually I will
Okay.
I'm proposing to have a Google form, so everyone keep entering their details into it, and you can also write down
Then
your group member's name and your selected physical system. I think everyone is okay with it, right?
how we will share the data, sir?
Data for
Like temperature, you should know you
we
make
will,
again.
yeah, that progressively we'll do that, right? No problem.
Okay, okay, sir.
So first, actually, the data will be streaming to your own computer, and then you can share the sheet with me. That is no problem, right? But first, as a common methodology, we will come up with the one common system that okay, we are going to use this kind of minimum stuffs and all. But first, for all actually, we will try to capture the atmospheric condition uh, from wherever you are working, whether you are working into the casting foundry, whether you are working into the forging, machining unit, wherever. So just you can place the small temperature humidity sensor into your office and start to capture the data, and that will actually give you more confidence to work in that direction. So I think I will go to that particular stuff, that how we are going to do that. And for the first, actually, before selecting your own particular sensors, we will go with the basic requirement. So actually what we are doing, I already told you, there are certain requirements with the investment casting foundries, like say few of the injection presses are required, devexing unit are required, cell baking furnace, melting furnace, heat treatment furnace, then measurement of atmospheric condition. And though I think the person who was explaining about the melting, probably you are also using the pyrometer to have a deep
Yes.
melting furnace to get an idea. So we are
Yes.
also in process of transforming the existing pyrometer into the smart pyrometer. So whenever you are dipping for measurement of the temperature, just by pressing the button, the data will be going to the server. And above all, actually, the Meena was trying to look after about the power consumption. So there are various aspects, but as we dealing into the manufacturing system, most of the time our main focus is to measure the temperature, pressure, time, power consumption, and more or less in that pressure, if I will consider lower pressure, atmospheric pressure, or higher pressure. Temperature, we do have a various range starting from the atmosphere to say maybe 300 degree centigrade, 300 to 1000 degree, and up to say 2000 degree, and so on, right? So our as a mechanical stuff, we mostly restricted to this kind of sensors. So we will first understand how these stuffs can be captured, and this experience can be taken to the your own system, what we are trying to do. So first job is, that's why actually I told you, you need to select the physical system. So all the time while understanding, you can create your own analogy with the existing system to the your own system. So basically, these are all things what we did, and we are trying to collect the as many as 120 parameters by placing the various sensors into the various location of equipment. So parallelly, 120 parameters are captured from the sensors, and that all the data will be streaming to the server. So finally, I think that video I have already went through while actually into the last time. So this is how the system looks like, and we are actually streaming the capturing the temperature from the wax injection press, and we are streaming over here right into the actual image what we have embedded into the system, right? So finally it gives you feel like the digital twin. So this is how the data is actually captured for, and how the data is represented. I think, yeah, this is suppose melting furnace, so that actually this data can be recorded over here and all, right? So this is how the entire system will work, and now we'll understand the first case study of that, how the temperature and humidity will be captured. And on to the next Sunday, we will have a live demonstration. One of my associate will explain you how to do it. So in this lecture, today's lecture will mainly go through the theoretical aspect of it, and on to the Sunday we will have a demonstration. So today you will receive, through this presentation, you will receive the list of the stuffs for which actually you need to place the order. I regret that it will cost you something, so that is, it is always advisable to have a group so that the entire expense can be divided, although it is not a huge expense what you are going to bear. And this is the first system we are going to develop, and then parallelly whatever your requirement, you can add this into the system. So finally we'll have an entire integrated cyber physical system with us. So if I'm going to talk about how to capture the temperature plus humidity, so basically I'm going to assume that everyone is having their, either their laptop or they are having their own system to work with it, which is required to have a minimum of i3 processor. RAM should be in the range of 4 GB, sometimes it is less than the 4 GB, it is also allowed, but then it will not give you a feel about data capturing and all. The hard disk space minimum of 4 GB is required, and you need to have a minimum 2 USB port in a free position to, although it is required one USB, but in case if we are going to use the multiple system, then you need to capture the power from it. So this is the basic kind of stuff which is required as far as your personal computer is concerned. Then into the software side, as we are going to deal with the Windows based system for the demonstration purpose, although you can also use the Mac OS, or if you are using the say Linux system and all, that is also okay, but we'll have a demonstration onto the Windows based system. I hope everyone is okay with that. Then you need to have a Arduino software installed in your computer. Then we are going to access the GitHub for taking a help related to some of the coding, as we understand that this is not the class of programming, so we will not go into the too much complexity involved into the programming. We are here to develop the algorithm or a logic behind the program, and the syntax wise and program wise we can take a help of GitHub. Then one which is open source platform called ThingSpeak, that you will have to install in your PC, because it is open source, so that actually onto the PC itself you will be having a monitoring, as well as you can build up your own Android application for the monitoring. So monitoring can be transformed into the any form, whether it is numerical value or in the form of chart or anything, right, that you can easily convert with the help of ThingSpeak. Now for the demonstration, we are going to utilize most of the open source kind of technology. Arduino is also open source. ThingSpeak is also open source. Most of the people are using the Windows based system, so there won't be any issue in that. And GitHub, anyway, it is accessible for everyone, right? So by this, actually, we can have a development and demonstration of cyber physical system. But as you are actually going to develop your own system, then probably you require your own server, you will require your own database and platform for the database, and then actually you can develop the monitoring system using either PHP, Laravel, Java is one of them, then Flask from the Python is one of them. So then you can decide the platform on which you can be having a expertise. But for demonstration purpose, I think these four are sufficient. This is the requirement related to, I should say, software. Now this is the requirement related to hardware that you will have to procure. So for measurement of temperature and humidity, the sensor which is more generic in nature, which is called DHT11, which is readily available into the various platforms. But I would suggest that we all will keep the common platform, so that actually a demonstration can be run very easily. Then you will require a microcontroller. Yeah, please.
These hardwares are required, means we all have to buy these hardwares, right?
You can also buy into the group. I'm okay with that.
No, sir. Means everyone, means irrespective of their projects, everyone has to buy this.
Yes.
Means
Yes. What I'm trying to say, this DHT11, it is for the first demonstration purpose, right? Then
okay.
someone is measuring the, as someone was mentioning about the viscosity, then this DHT11 will be replaced by that sensor. Suppose you are dealing with the melting temperature, then
Yes.
this DHT11 will be replaced by the either K-type thermocouple or different thermocouple. If someone is dealing onto the 300 degrees centigrade, then it will be replaced by the RTD sensor, right? Like that.
Okay.
So this is remaining, most of the things will remain common, right? The first thing will be utilize for the demonstration purpose. So DHT11 ESP32, which is more or less kind of referred as a node MCU into the general market. Then SMPS, because we are going to transform the AC current into the DC, as well as we are going to transform the 230 watt into the 5 volt. Then, as we are not going to go with the typical development of the PCB, because then it will go into the development of the PCB, learning that stuff and all. So we are going to utilize the breadboard for that. And then how to connect the sensors with the SMPS, how to connect the sensors with ESP32 and all. We do require a certain set of the jumper wire, and 2 pins we require to have a better connection, which is also readily available into the market. Then wire with 3-pin plug, most of us are having availability with us, and micro USB cable. So any mobile charging cable, onto the one end there is a micro USB, and onto the another end there is a USB. That cable can be utilized. If you are not having, you need to procure it, right? So major source from which actually you can buy all the stuffs is robu.in. You can surf the basic this list, and that will nearly cost you around about, entire set is nearly cost you nearly about 2000 rupees, right? But it will be slightly less than that. I just kept the maximum amount of it. Here the major cost involved into the ESP32, which is relatively higher cost, around about I think 699 or 650 or so, right? Then the SMPS. This DHT11 will not cost you too much. It is nearly 100 rupees stuff, right? So robu.in, you can actually procure all the stuffs. It will be why actually Robu? I'm not actually kind of executive for the Robu, but their delivery is relatively very faster in comparison with other. I am also okay if you are going to buy with any other available platform. It may be Amazon, it may be Robu, it may be anything. I'm okay with that, right? So then actually I will tell you how it cost or how it looked. The DHT11 will simply look like that. If you are going to purchase it from the Robu, it will nearly cost around about 130 rupees. The ESP32 look like this, which is having a provision of nearly 32 pins, total 32 pins. That's why it is referred as a ESP32, and which is having a provision of few analog pin and few digital pin. We'll understand what is analog pin and what is digital pin. More or less, it is kind of advanced version of Arduino. There are certain Arduino boards are available. So there are certain Arduino boards are available. Arduino Nano, Uno, Mega, so many. But unfortunately, some of them are not able to connect with you Wi-Fi. So for that, you need to have a separate attachment along with the Arduino board and Wi-Fi module. But here actually, so if you are having Arduino board, you need to connect the node MCU with that to transform into the internet. But here directly ESP32, you can have a Wi-Fi module inbuilt. Now this actually kind of microcontroller actually actually it provide a kind of it creating the revolution into the electronics industry. Earlier there were microcontroller like 8051 board in which everything need to be programmed, right? You with the help of C, C++ and all. But this stuffs actually are having a excellent help available onto the internet. You can download, you can surf any program available for this Arduino. Actually, Arduino is a platform. Earlier, the Arduino also, even it is currently selling this kind of board. But ESP32 is a different board. Arduino is a different. But programming for this can be done onto the Arduino platform. Even currently Raspberry Pi can also be programmed into the Arduino platform. So ESP32, it looks like this. The SMPS, which is generally used into the conversion of 230 watt into the 5 volt 2 ampere. So this is more or less specification of it. You should buy this particular source. It means high link, which is relatively better in comparison with the other. That's what our experience says. This is the breadboard. I have mentioned the particular kind of product ID for that. If you are going to serve through the robo.in, it will nearly cost you 70 rupees. Then there are various jumper wires. There are, say, female to female, male to female, and male to male, right? So each set, actually all three coming as a one set of nearly 200 rupees. Then this is the micro USB cable. You can easily buy it, or if you are having, no need to buy it, right? Then the entire cost will come down. So this is the requirement related to hardware. Earlier requirement I have mentioned related to software, right? So by combine all these things, how to actually install the Arduino, few steps. Just you need to go into the Google and you need to type Arduino IDE download, whatever the first website comes, right? Arduino IDE download, and whatever the first things comes or pop up, you need to go through that. Then it will give you some kind of version, so you can easily download it for the Windows or Windows 7 or newer version. Basically, we are supposed to download IDE 1.8.13. It is also free available. So just press the just download. It will be downloaded into the system of your Windows. It is into the exe form. So once you download it, right, then so it will be downloaded somewhere into your downloaded folder like this, right? And then you need to install it by following the routine stuff. You will be able to install it. Then once you will go into the Arduino, just press that button, the screen will be look like this. It is kind of first impression of the Arduino. So actually initial or a first time whenever you have installed the Arduino, it is kind of blank. It means it does not have a provision of the library what you are going to use. It does not have a provision of the microcontroller what you are going to use. So we need to install that stuff into this platform, right? So this is the overall screen of the Arduino. We are not going to go into the detail individual what is there into the file, edit, sketch and all. There are tons of videos available onto the YouTube and into the open source. You can just go through that how to get more details about the Arduino. I'm not going to go into the detail, but for that actually we require a certain libraries specifically related to DHT11 and ESP32. For that actually we should have a certain kind of provision of the library with us. So the next step into the Google, you need to go into the Google and you need to search that install ESP32 in Arduino. Normal things what you can actually just type, and it will give you the first website. It is more or less related to randomnertutorials.com. Right? So just go through that. It will be opening like this, and just you need to copy this link. Actually, you are not supposed to download, just we are supposed to get a link of it. Then again you go into the Arduino, go into the file. Into the file there is a button called preference, and into the preference, once you open it, there will be a one space available over here. So whatever the things you copied from the earlier web page. You are going to paste it over here. Then you will see into the board, you will see, once you will go into the board manager, there will be a pop-up of ESP32. Just you need to select it and run OK and close it, right? Then you will be having the ESP32 module installed into that. There are multiple options available, but right now say we are interested into the ESP32. So before actually installing that, you can also check into your Arduino system whether it is available in your tool or not. If it is not available, then just install it. If it is already available, no need to worry about it. So you will be able to see that all ESP32 module available with you. Right? Then actually you need to select the port actually through which you are communicating. So you can select any available USB port for getting the connection. Now this port is usually indicating that how you are connecting the ESP32 through micro USB cable to your respective PC, whether you are using the PC or laptop. The USB cable through micro USB, you need to connect the ESP32. So that will become your port. Whatever the USB port you are going to use, it will be pop up here. Right? Then actually we are going to install the DHT11 DHT11H Arduino library into that. So just go into the Google, you will have to type DHT11H Arduino library, and you will find the open source into the GitHub. There are multiple sources available, but you need to go into that Adafruit DHT sensor library, Arduino library available onto the GitHub. So once you will go that particular link, it will be simply look like that. Into that, there is a open source available for this code. You can go through the code and you will find that download zip, and that you will have to download it. So it will go into your downloaded folder. Then again you go into the Arduino platform, go into the tab sketch, into which you will find the include library. Into that you will find the add zip library, and just click that and go to the location where this DHT sensor library zip format has been downloaded. Just select that, press the button called open, and it will be installed. So then actually this library has been installed into the Arduino, right? So actually I'm not going into the further details that how we are going to connect the DHT11 with ESP32 and all. So into the Sunday itself we'll see the demonstration how it is going to work. By first actually I will go through 10-15 minutes theoretical aspect, and then actually we will be having a complete demonstration on hands-on session, right? How it will be connected, right? So far any confusion, anything, I think you will be able to get the list of the stuff what is required. So I will take you again to the list of the stuffs that you will require, right? This is the hardware. You can go through the video after once the lecture is over. You can get it that stuff. You can also go through that how it looks like. So that will actually help you to select. See, there are multiple DHT11 kind of stuffs are also available. Sometime you will find the possibility of 4 pins over here. Sometimes you will see the 3 pins, but mostly we will go with this particular sensor with 3 pins, right?
Sir, any soldering device?
No, not required. That's why actually we are using the breadboard. So jumper wire we are going to utilize for a physical connection. Will not going to utilize the soldering and all. Once you will be expert in that, we will go with it. But right now, no need to use it. And this is the stuff that you are supposed to use. I will give you a special kind of half-hour session onto the ThingSpeak, 15-20 minute session on that, how to work on that. But our first job is to get the temperature and humidity to your own system. Right? It means on you are going to capture the temperature and humidity to our own desktop. It means a PC or laptop. Then we will understand that how to take it to the server and how to take it to the Android device. So ThingSpeak is for that. So for this moment, till the Sunday, if you are not going to install the ThingSpeak, it is okay, no problem.
Hello.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, this is Rajnikant.
Yep.
Sir, we are working on a project named Battery Management System for EV vehicles.
Okay.
So we contacted one manufacturing company for data, company name Electricita, and they are working on lithium ferrophosphate.
Okay.
And they are just a startup in lithium ion batteries. So they are struggling with how to capture real-time data of battery, like nominal capacity, battery current, battery voltage, ambient temperature, maximum battery temperature, like that. So they told us to create a device or create an app to capture all these data through Wi-Fi. So in this class, I understand that we can do that.
Okay. So actually you want to capture the temperature of the battery, right? So how we
Yes.
Currently, are they doing anything on that, or because see you cannot actually pour the, or you cannot keep the thermocouple inside the acidic environment of the battery, right? Otherwise it will be erode away very easily and the temperature cannot be judged. So currently how they are doing, are they proposing anything, or just it is a kind of project what you are trying to do?
They are
There are
not doing anything.
Okay, so there are actually some wireless temperature measurement stuffs are available, but they are very costly nowadays. If you are going into the very low range of the temperature, like say if it is 50 degrees centigrade, there is no issue. Anyway, we are having that temperature gun what we are using into our pandemic situation, right? But as it is going to be the very high range, then it is very difficult to capture the temperature, and unfortunately you can even not keep the thermocouple inside the battery, or you can embed it, but you cannot put inside the battery. So thermocouple will not work in that case. So we'll try to come out with some kind of solution for that, right? First, as I told you, wireless temperature sensing devices, the current and all these things can be captured. It is not a big deal, right? It means you can just place a voltage or a current sensor in the path of the battery. You will be able to take the extraction of the current, how much current it is producing, how much voltage is produced, and so on. It means based on that, it can be correlated with the what you can say, like how much amount of fuel is remaining. What there are certain indicators, right, which are used in that. So there are certain battery indicators are available, can be embedded with that. But we'll have to think that onto the temperature aspect, how and exactly at what location they want to measure the temperature. Right? Once the data acquisition is going to happen, then sending onto the cloud and through Wi-Fi and all, it is not a big deal, right? Currently, we are going to utilize the Wi-Fi internet. The same module can also be available for the GPS. You can fix up the SIM, any kind of SIM card onto the microcontroller, and it will work on that particular stuff too. But we'll have to think on that, how to capture the temperature, specifically temperature, and at which location of the battery they want to have a temperature. So
Sir, they are working in lithium ion battery. Can we take the battery of our car as a CPS?
yes, you can take it, no problem. As I told you, no problem associated with it. Any kind of system can be transformed, but the main issue is that into the battery itself, where you want to take the temperature, at which location you want to take the temperature. So if you are coming up with that, and you will find out, actually it is more or less design related stuff. I think we should not go into the design aspect of it. Which just find out, if you are going to deal with the battery, just find out the maximum range of the temperature. Then we'll think how to place the temperature measurement device onto thermocouple into the battery. That is a different altogether discussion point. But right now, okay, battery temperature, battery current or voltage, we can take it as a physical system, and then we'll develop that particular stuff. Right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, Satyendra here.
Yes, Satyam.
So, in my previous company, actually, we tried to found this wireless temperature sensor.
Okay.
Actually, you know that in the core shooters, currently people used to have thermocouple, and that thermocouple used to give the reading of temperature of each die. But after some time, due to sand and all frequent movement, they get damaged. So we want to avoid that situation. We were searching for the wireless temperature sensor, so that without wires it can transmit.
There are
So how
devices.
costly they are?
Yeah, it is beyond imagination. First, actually, up to 400 degrees centigrade itself, we recently inquired such device. Up to 400 itself, it cost us nearly 9 to 10 lakh rupees. If it is going to the 1100 or 1200 degrees centigrade, it cost you nearly 25 lakh rupees, near about that. But I will also tell you exact cost, because we just before 4 months actually got a quotation for that, because the same requirement is for the shell which is used into the investment casting. Once you back the cell, right, we are interested
Yes.
to know the temperature of the cell through wireless, because in that case also you cannot place a thermocouple. But for the higher temperature, their cost is very high. Exact cost I will tell you, but up to 400 it was nearly 9 lakh. Up to 1100 they were mentioning something about the 25 lakh rupees. Right. So I think, and I
Sir,
also request. Yeah. Yes, please. I think someone is.
after we collect the data, are we going to use any mathematical model to do some optimization?
Yes, that is the all purpose of the cyber physical system. We are also having a open cloud-based prediction tool. So just you need to collect the data, and first we will go through the prediction stuff. So we'll going to utilize the, actually you are not supposed to develop any model. We are going to use the ready-made tool for that, but I will tell you how it works. So basically we'll understand the neural network fundamental and neural network for the prediction, various training algorithms and how it works, and we'll also try to learn the statistical model for the prediction. So when we receive the data, the first thing will come in our mind about the prediction. Then after the prediction, we'll try to optimize it. So we are going to use the Bayesian inference based algorithm for the optimization purpose, in which just you need to upload the data and you will get the result. The basic theory we will discuss how it is going to work. So then advanced version of it, actually once you will receive the optimized data with you, then you need to feed that data again into the system. For example, if you will come to know that okay, shrinkage porosity is likely to happen due to the pouring temperature range of say 1700 to 1750 degrees centigrade, for example. So then you need to tune the your system in such a way that the pouring will happen in between the 1700 degrees centigrade to 1750 degrees centigrade, right? Unfortunately, so far such a high sophisticated system is difficult to develop on our own shop floor, because this will require a real knowledge of the controlling part, at how to control a particular device and set into the particular range of temperature or range of parameter. So our entire objective in this course is to capture the data, use the data for the monitoring purpose, use the same data for the quality prediction, and finally we'll optimize this parameter for achieving the desired quality. So at that point we are will try to stop into this particular course, cyber physical system, right? So anyone who is willing to have some more clarification? What I was trying to say, the person who are not actually still decided their physical system and parameters are requested to do that, right? I will probably share the Google form in a day by to tomorrow evening, right? I will prepare the form and share it with you. Okay, so if nothing more is there, I would like to stop here, and into the Sunday we'll have a demonstration on that. And before that, I would I hope that everyone will receive that stuff. Right? So thank you all for the session and having patience in listening. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.